Just a quick thank you to everyone who's been using my EA creator code. It really means a lot. If you're picking up new Sims 4 packs, just enter Simmary Sims as the promo code at checkout in the EA app or on the Sims website and click apply. It won't give you a discount, but it is a totally free way to support me and my channel. Thank you again and happy simming! Hi friends, welcome to my channel and welcome to another speed build. So for today's video, we're back in my all-time favorite world, which is of course Brindleton Bay, the world that came with cats and dogs. I am absolutely obsessed with this world. I always have been and I always will be. It's just so cozy, and especially coming into the end of the summertime, you know, the start of fall. I know it's August, it's not fall yet, but it's coming up. You know, it's coming up and I'm just starting to get a little bit excited for it. Sue me. It's just me. It's just who I am. I love the fall. And also I just love Brindleton Bay and like all those things combined. However, this build is not fall related. Like this is not a fall build whatsoever. It can be. I'm sure it'll be really cozy in the fall, but that's not what we're focusing on. Today, we're actually building a brand new house for the Hecking household. And the Heckings are actually, sorry, I have like a hair on my nose and it's itchy. There we go. This is just, you know, voiceovers. I don't really edit these down, so it happens sometimes. So yeah, we have Brent and Brand Hecking, and their names are so problematic. We have Brent with an E and then Brand with an A, and that's literally their names. They are a couple of newlyweds, and I don't really know how, but they're living in this house. They have a gigantic house. Well, you know, it's not that gigantic, but it's definitely big, and like for a couple of newlyweds, they literally have no business living in a house that is this huge and just expensive and kind of almost like it's almost a villa. I feel like it's a villa. I'm not exactly sure, but like in this economy, how are they living in a house like this? I don't understand, and they need to let me in on their secret, you know. That would be really nice. But they live here in the world of Brindleton Bay, and their default house is, I can't lie, kind of cute. Like, I'm not mad about it. And so I wanted to build them something that was not anything like their old house, but kind of like their old house. So it's in the same style. It is a Dutch colonial inspired house, and that was what their previous house was as well. This one's very different though, and I had a lot of fun with this. I was looking at a reference picture for this one of a Dutch colonial that kind of looked like this with the 3 dormers and stuff out front, but for the rest, the shape of it was very simple, and that's what intrigued me because I knew, like, I knew I wanted to use this for actual gameplay, and I will get into that in a minute. But yeah, so I wanted this to be very gameplay friendly, not too overwhelmingly big, but I did want it to fill up the lot nicely. I did want there to be enough backyard and just like front yard and like space around the house as well. Like it didn't need to be that big, but I wanted it to be fairly spacious and something to kind of, you know, represent that's along the same lines of their old house. So that's essentially what I'm building here on this lot in Brindleton Bay, on the official lot where the Heckings are located in the expansion pack as well. So, you know, that is all staying the same. And again, I don't know where they got this money from, but it's also kind of interesting because I'm kind of trying to think about some lore for the Heckings because, like I said, I definitely want to do some gameplay with them and actually use this house in the game because, okay, so in a speed build that I shared last week, I explained this as well, but I'm planning on doing a rotational gameplay series in Brindleton Bay with some different families. And I'm going to be rotating between, I want to say 3 to 4 different families. And the Hecking household is one of the families that I will be playing with. And so naturally, I'm replacing all the lots in the entirety of Brindleton Bay. So it's definitely taking me some time to set everything up. But last week I shared a really cute house on the smaller lot in this same area of Brindleton Bay that I built for a single mom and and her 2 kids, 1 teenager, 1 kid, and I told the whole like storyline there. So that's what I worked on, so I have that family. And then I'm also planning on playing with the Hecking household, because I think, you know, since we're focusing on rotational gameplay in Brindleton Bay, I think it would be really fun to actually throw in some townies there. It's just really fun. I personally never play with townies, so I think it'll be really fun for me to do. That said, like playing with townies, speaking of which, I am also planning a Let's Play for the pancakes, which is going to be a little mini series. I don't know how long it'll go for, but I'm doing that first, and then after that I'm wanting to start this Let's Play. So it'll be a while before we actually get started, which is a good thing because I do have a lot of setting up to do for it still. But that's just part of the fun for me. Like that's half the fun, is setting it up, building lots, kind of thinking of storylines, things that I want to tell, like things that I want to do through storytelling. That sort of thing is just so much fun, and it's so fun to talk about it with you as well. And maybe you have ideas for little storyline or character ideas for these Sims that I'm wanting to play with. So for the Hecking household, we have Brent and Brant, which again, their names are insanely problematic for me, especially I feel like I have a difficult time pronouncing Brant with an A. Brent is fine, but Brant, like, it's difficult for me for some reason. So I'm not changing their names because that would be cheating. This is what they're called, this is what their names are, and this is what it is. So they live here. They are a couple of newlyweds. They recently got married, and they have a little dog called Rosie, and that's essentially all there is to it, I think. So maybe there's some existing lore for them out there that I'm just not aware of, so I could go and like research that, of course, but I also kind of want to think of my own lore with them, and I'm not done with that yet. Like I'm not exactly sure. I do know that Brent is, it's either Brent or Brant, I don't know which one, but one of them is a painter. One of them is in the painting career. I think that is Brent with an E, and then Brant with an A is I think he's in the bodybuilder career, but I think at least he has the like bodybuilder aspiration, and he is very fitness and sports like focused. That's his thing. So we have one creative sim and one athlete basically. And that's also what their professions are, as far as I'm aware. I do have to still give them a makeover, so I'm excited about that as well. I'll get to know them a little bit better in that sense. Which, by the way, shameless little self promo, but these kinds of like makeovers and little things like setting up behind the scenes, I do make videos of that for my members. So if that is something that you're interested in, I do have memberships going here on my channel, and I will share some like more. I'm trying to do one weekly members video, so it's kind of fun to kind of see what I want to do for those, because it's new for me too. But I like to share some like behind the scenes things that normally I wouldn't really make videos for my like main channel videos. So it's really fun to have a space like my memberships space where I can upload some fun other types of videos for stuff that I normally wouldn't record. So I'm not like uploading stuff there that I would normally put here on the channel. It's just extra stuff like behind the scenes, setting up things. It's really fun. So it's a little bit of a more like, it's a space where I can connect with you, I guess, on a more personal level as well, and just share some of those behind the scenes moments and just do some chatting. So that's also where I'll upload these like makeovers and things. I also did a makeover for the pancakes for my upcoming Let's Play with them. That's up there for members as well. So just saying, like, if that is something that you're interested in, I do have a link in the description that you can click that'll take you to where you can join and like look at the memberships. You could also head on over to my channel and click on the join button on my channel as well. But yeah, with all of that out of the way, I do have to still do a makeover for them, which is very exciting for me. But one of them is a painter, and then one of them is an athlete, and they live here in this house with their little dog, and I want there to be more to the storyline. For starters, how did they come by this house, or how did they come by enough money to buy this house? I personally think that one of these Sims actually inherited this house from their like late grandparents or something, or maybe their parents had inherited this house and they didn't have a use for it, so maybe that's why they gave it to their son, and now their son lives here with their partner, something like that. I think they inherited this house, And they just got, I guess, really lucky in that sense. And they did do some renovating to it. Like, it's definitely not, it's an old house, kind of is what I wanted to look like from the outside. It's a well-maintained house, like it was really well looked after and there's nothing wrong with it, but I just wanted it to look like a more traditional, like older house that's been around for a while, you know? And then on the inside, they definitely did do some renovations to it. It looks really pretty. It's very, I guess, it's very traditional, but it still doesn't look old. So I still feel like maybe they like renovated it. They probably renovated the floors and whatnot. They renovated the floors partially on the second floor as well, because most of the rooms up there have like carpet, which is, I guess, like unrenovated and like older carpet. But then we also have a little home gym and a painting studio upstairs, which I did use wooden floors for. So I was kind of telling the story, trying to tell a story where they did some renovating, like they partially renovated the floors of the house, but like not everywhere. This house does have 3 bedrooms in total, which they don't really need because it's just the 2 of them and their little dog. So they have all this space, which is actually perfect for them because, you know, the painter, Brent, he can have a home studio, which is really cool. And then Brand can have his home gym. So, you know, it's really convenient for them. I do also still want to build a gym here in Brindleton Bay. It's not something I've ever done before, and I think it would be a really fun lot to actually have in this world. So I'm gonna do that somewhere in the area where we have the docks and stuff. I feel like we have some big lots there, not on the docks, but like close by the docks, where I feel like I could build a really cool like gym slash public pool or something. So I kind of want to build that, and then we can pretend that Brant is maybe a personal trainer there. I think that would be cool. Or we could turn it into a small business and actually have him run the gym. I think that would also be kind of fun. I don't know, we'll have to see how we go with that, but that would be something fun to add in here as well. So yeah, these Sims, they definitely do not need all these bedrooms, but I do want them to, I want there to be a little bit of lore there and obviously some storyline to play through. So I think they just got really lucky and they inherited this house, and that's how they ended up here. And then now they sort of have to struggle a little bit to like keep up with the bills and everything for this house. I don't think that's easy for them, but it's fun to kind of work towards that. And also I definitely think that these Sims maybe want to start a family or something, or maybe they used to not really be interested in starting a family, like that used to not really be for them, but maybe now one of these Sims is slowly starting to realize that maybe they do want to start a family, and maybe there can be a little bit of friction there, like in their marriage, in their relationship, and maybe there can be some like stuff to work through together. I don't know how they would come out of that. Maybe they will decide that yes, we are going to start a family together, or maybe it'll result in them maybe needing to separate for a little while to work things out. I'm not exactly sure how we'll go from there, but they live in this gigantic house, so I definitely am sort of planning on maybe starting a family with them. I think that would be so cute. And they also have this gigantic backyard. So I even was thinking at first when I started building this house, I was kind of planning on giving them space for a horse, because I think that would be really fun to just have them have like a horse here. It's the perfect lot for it. We definitely have a lot of space, but then somehow my house, the house that I built, and like the gigantic back porch and stuff, it ended up being a little bit bigger than I had intended for it to be. So it's a little bit more spacious and taking up more space than I thought it would. So I don't really have that much space left here anymore. However, we do have a separate shed here, like a garage kind of thing that could easily be turned into some sort of horse stable, or maybe like a cute little stable for some mini sheep and some mini goats. I think that could be really cute as well. For now, I just placed some dog training stuff because, you know, they have their little dog Rosie and they're obsessed with her and they spend a lot of time with her. And I think the both of them really like training Rosie as well. Maybe that's something for them to bond over, and they like do that together in their backyard or at the park like all the time. I think that would be really fun. I definitely think they'll have more pets, if anything, like if not children, or, you know, maybe also children, but definitely more pets. I think they're obsessed with dogs. and they want more dogs. They just really love dogs. They have such a big heart, and they want to kind of like rescue all the dogs and stuff. Which, speaking of that, I also built a animal shelter here in Brindleton Bay that I'll be sharing here on the channel soon as well, which is also for the gameplay series. So that's something that's coming up. But I was kind of thinking that maybe they also want to rescue dogs, or maybe they can be a foster family for dogs, kind of like working together with the pet shelter in that sense, where they can maybe be a foster family for dogs that they don't really have space for at the shelter. I think that would be really cute. And then maybe also Rosie can have puppies. I think that would be really, really cute. So definitely more pets for them. That's definitely something that's going to happen, but probably also kids, I think. I just think that that would be really cute. Or maybe just one kid, maybe one kid and a bunch of dogs. I could totally see that for them as well. Like maybe they'll end up adopting a child. I'm not sure, but it's like, it's really fun for me to sit and like think about what I want to do with these Sims and how their lives are going to play out. And obviously this is all going to be part of the rotational gameplay, so we don't know yet. We don't know what's going to happen. We'll have to tell this story and kind of see where it takes us, and I think that's going to be really fun. So we have moved on to the interior of this house, and as you can see, like that the house, yes, sure, it's really spacious, but it's not overly unplayable, you know, huge, which sometimes happens when I do build like mansions or villas. I don't really build them with gameplay in mind. I just want to build something grand. And for this one, I really tried to keep an eye on the gameplay still. So I feel like it's not too overwhelming, but it's definitely still spacious. So we have an entryway, and then I really tried to keep the floor plan really, like, I wanted it to flow nicely, so I just placed a bunch of like archways and connecting all the rooms, and I don't know, I try to be very efficient in that sense. So over here we have the main living room, the family room, if you will. So this is the living room where we have a really, really nice fireplace here, and as you can see, I tooled a TV into this fireplace because this is just the perfect fireplace to do that with. So I did that here with a base game TV, and the annoying thing is I think if the TV breaks down this way, your Sims can't reach to fix it, so you'll have to just replace it and, you know, just call it a day. Maybe cheat the money back and pretend that they fixed it or something like that, or I don't know, but I just really wanted to place the TV in the fireplace like this because it's just the perfect opportunity to do that. So I ended up doing that. And then I wanted there to be like some clutter, not too much clutter, but definitely I wanted to look lived in, and they love dogs. So I did focus on like little dog statues and just like little dog clutter items. We also have a bunch of like treats and stuff here in the living room for little Rosie. And then for the rest, we are also building on medium wall height, which isn't something I do a lot. I really, really struggle to make things look cozy when I'm building with taller walls. I don't know what it is with that. I just feel like it's really difficult for me to do. But I try to do it here. These bookcases from Life and Death definitely came in handy because they come in both tall, medium, and then also short wall height versions. So those were definitely a lifesaver to fill up the wall nicely and just really make it feel a little bit less empty. But for the rest, this house is definitely, you know, it's not all the way fully decorated with stuff like everywhere. So it feels, in some areas, in my opinion, just a little bit empty, especially in this gigantic living room here. It can feel a little empty at times, but I think for gameplay purposes, it'll be nice to have it this way. We'll have space for, you know, to set up a Christmas tree when Winterfest rolls around, that sort of thing. So yeah, it's nice to have it a little bit more spacious. I also placed a 4-seater dining table in this space as well. I just thought that that would make a fun game table. So I just placed a little board game there on the table as well. And then also, by the way, I love the combination of this wallpaper and those curtains. Those curtains are from Businesses and Hobbies, and I don't think I've ever used them in this particular swatch, but they kind of tie in with this wallpaper perfectly, because if you look close enough, then you can see that in this wallpaper, the wallpaper has this green like stripe repeated pattern, has red and green stripes, and that green is almost the exact same color green as those curtains. So that was a really fun find, and just really something fun for me to use continuously throughout this house. house. So that's what I ended up doing. It might be a little much for some people, which I completely understand. That color green is not necessarily my favorite color in the world, but I think it brings in a fun element here in the color scheme of the house, and it just, you know, makes it come to life a little bit more. And it's fun to not only use neutral colors all the time, especially for these bigger houses with these bigger rooms. Like, I tend to get bored of my color schemes, and with this one with the green curtains, I feel like that really like broke it up nicely. So that was something fun for me to do. But then here we have the kitchen, and the life and death counters were perfect in here. They were the perfect counters. I feel like they definitely at least like partially renovated the kitchen to where they swapped out all the handles and gave it like a fresh coat of paint. I feel like that is definitely something that they did in here. And then I swapped out the white paneling for some dark brown paneling because it was feeling a little bit too white and bright and a little bit flat in that sense. And I wanted there to be something more to this color scheme, and I wanted it to feel a little bit darker. So I decided to go for a dark wooden paneling or siding here in the kitchen, and I think that makes it look really, really pretty. This siding is from Businesses and Hobbies, I believe, and it's just really nice. So that worked perfectly together with this flooring that I placed. And then in the kitchen, obviously, we also had to have a space for Rosie for her food bowl. So I placed that down here in the corner. And one thing I never place is that Roomba. And I thought it'd be fun to have that in here. So I placed a Roomba. We're probably going to be like seeing that like zooming around through the house during gameplay whenever we have gameplay come out. I think that's going to be really fun to see. But yeah, the kitchen is a little different because I do have this large back door, like these greenhouse doors leading onto the back porch, kind of like right there in the middle. So I kind of have to place my counters around that. But I feel like it ended up working out really nicely, especially with this rounded island in the middle. I just think that that worked out really, really beautifully. And obviously I had to go for a little coffee nook there, and I also placed some beautiful flowers. I feel like these guys, they really, really care for their interior a lot. Like, they really care about what their home looks like. And I also think they would be the kind of couple that loves to host at their house. So I think they would love to host dinner parties and just have everyone hang out and, you know, cook for everyone. I feel like at least one of them, or maybe both of them, maybe they love to cook together. I feel like that would be another cute thing for them to bond over, is cooking together and preparing all these beautiful meals for people to come over. They would definitely be the ones to host Harvest Fest dinner for all their friends and family, and the same goes for Christmas or Winterfest. You know, I feel like they would be the ones to host, and they would also definitely, you know, be the couple where everyone's excited when they host and when they give a party. Like, they would probably be known for their really, really nice parties. I feel like that's definitely for them. So, you know, the more high-end luxurious lifestyle is definitely for them. And this house is perfect for it too. So, you know, they're lucky that they got to inherit this house, or that they inherited this house, but also it just really suits their style and their personalities really well, I want to say. So yeah, I'm also intending on playing with laundry whenever this Let's Play rolls around. We'll see how long that's going to be fun for, because laundry does tend to glitch out, you know, a little bit. But I definitely wanted there to be laundry machines. So down here we have a full bathroom with a tub. I thought that would be really useful, especially because they have one dog for now, but probably more dogs in their near future. It'd be nice to have a tub downstairs here so they can just easily give their dogs a bath without needing to go all the way upstairs, because the house, you know, it's pretty big. So it's nice and convenient to have that down here. So yeah, that's their little bathroom right there. And then we have a gorgeous sunroom that I turned into the dining room. Of course, I felt like this space was perfect as a dining room. It is just big enough to have an 8-seater dining table without it feeling too cramped. You can still walk around the dining table. There shouldn't be any routing issues here. And I'm using all those beautiful greenhouse windows from the Greenhouse Oasis. Is it called Greenhouse Oasis? Greenhouse Haven? Greenhouse Haven kit, I think is what it's called. And it was just absolutely perfect to create this beautiful sunroom with obviously just like windows all around. and it just looks gorgeous. So to fill up the space, I decided to go for some china cabinets here, some lower ones to not really like place anything against the window, you know, I always feel a little weird doing that. So I placed some of these lower ones from Seasons, and then just some, you know, balanced out decorations, and I guess a couple of clutter pieces here and there, but nothing too crazy. So yeah, this house definitely feels very luxurious. And isn't this a perfect dining room to host dinner parties? You know, it's absolutely stunning. I could totally see them going, like, swapping out the dining table decorations every season. They would have probably such a beautiful centerpiece for Harvest Fest and then for Christmas after that. I just could totally see that for them, caring about the decorations. And I think it'd be really fun for gameplay as well, like once we actually do gameplay, to seasonally decorate their home. I think it's just going to be really fun. And then here, attached to both the kitchen and also the dining room and also the entryway, actually, is a second lounge. And later on I was like, oh, I should probably have turned this into an office. That would have probably made a little bit more sense. But then again, since they do love to host so much, I do think it's nice to have a lounge kind of attached to the kitchen and dining, because I feel like this is where all the guests would hang out, and you would have all the guests essentially just in one place, either hanging out in the dining room or in the kitchen by the island, just like talking to the person that's cooking, you know, or here in the lounge, enjoying a little drink from the bar, you know. We also have a glow bar in the living room, by the way, but we also have a little one-tile bar here in the kitchen for people to just grab some drinks. There is a piano in here, and I was definitely thinking that maybe one of these, maybe Brent, the guy who is the painter, maybe he's just very creative all around and he loves to play the piano and maybe sing also, and that's how they like to entertain their guests. You know, later in the evening, he'll probably like give a little performance and just like play some songs for his guests. I think that would be so wholesome. So I placed that beautiful piano there, and then just some decorations. We have a nice end table here with some flowers and a light and just a nice seating area, but you know, I didn't want to clutter it up again just too much, so I kept it fairly simple. And then after that lounge, we are moving on to the second floor here, and this one, you know, it has 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. I didn't record the bathrooms upstairs because I already did the one downstairs, and this video is already so long, so I decided to you know, the bathrooms aren't super interesting anyway. So but the main bedroom here, this is the main bedroom. That one does have an ensuite, and as you can probably already tell, it also has a little walk-in like closet or like wardrobe kind of thing. So it really does feel like the main bedroom. This is so big, you could easily turn this into 2 bedrooms if you wanted to. Like it's definitely very easy to do. But I decided to go for one main bedroom, like suite kind of thing here on one side of the house. I felt like that just made so much sense for this house. And then I'm loving this combination of the carpet and then the wallpaper. They're both from Base Game, and it just definitely feels a little bit older, a little bit more traditional. And that's what I wanted it to feel like. Maybe over time they would still renovate this. I feel like they would probably still put in like the same wood floors that they did throughout the entire house, but you know, maybe not yet. Or maybe they didn't actually redo the floors. Maybe they just, I guess, maybe they didn't put in like new floors, but maybe they just sanded them down and I guess painted, not really paint, but like put a new coat, like put a new topper over it or something. I feel like that's something they could have done. And then maybe they found that same floor or something very similar and used that for the extra rooms upstairs that I turned into a painting studio and a gym for the other one. I feel like that's a little bit more realistic, because swapping out the floors for this entire house would probably cost as much as like a starter home, you know, like that would be insanely expensive. So I feel like the floors would still be original, but maybe just like treated or something. But yeah, here we have the main bedroom, and I actually placed a little office in this room because I had a lot of space left over, and I was thinking to myself, I could do another lounge setup thing, but I probably wouldn't really use that, and I would probably use a home office. So I decided to just go for a little computer area here in the bedroom, and it's not bad. I think it actually looks kind of cozy, so I went ahead and did that. And then here we have sort of like a walk-in wardrobe kind of thing, but I decided to keep it simple and actually place a built-in wardrobe here in the closet, and then just place a little mirror and an ottoman, and I feel like that still gets the job done, and it looks a little bit more clean and very functional for gameplay purposes too, so that's what I ended up doing. And then here I started decorating the gym, and at first I hadn't swapped out the floors yet because I thought it'd be a fun, realistic thing for them to just needing to work with the carpet upstairs but still wanting a gym, and that's just, you know, it's a gym with carpet. But then it started to bother me at some point, so I decided to just swap it out for both those rooms here on the side. And since it's 2 rooms, I feel like it's not too annoying that the floors are different here. So I just decided to go for that. And then the home gym is fairly simple. We just have a weightlifting machine and a punching bag, and also a treadmill and some music in there and just some gym related decorations. I felt like that was nice. I do think, I mean, Brand definitely uses his home gym a lot, but I also think he would be at the gym all the time because he does, in my brain, he works there and he's like a personal trainer. So yeah, he's over at the gym a lot, but sometimes, you know, on Sundays, he probably doesn't really want to go and he still wants to do a workout, so he'll just use his home gym, is what I was imagining. And then I do think that Brent actually also uses his home gym, his husband's home gym, because I don't think, like, I think he likes to work out, but he doesn't really enjoy going to the gym. Like, that's a little bit too intimidating for him, so he just wants to work out at home, so they can probably use it together. And then I gave Brent a painting studio with a lot of those items from the painting studio kit. Is it called Artist Studio? I forget, but I think it's called Artist Studio. So that's the one that I used in there. And then after that, we're moving on to their back porch, which I just placed a really nice seating area that kind of looks out over the backyard. That would be so dreamy to have. And then I also placed a little 4-seater dining table and then just some decorations. So some plants, some flowers. I don't think these Sims would be into gardening at all, so I didn't really give them any gardening boxes. Normally I would do that on like porches and maybe in the backyard, but I think they just have a bunch of grass in the backyard and they just, it's for the dog, you know, it's for the dog and for them to kind of look at, and maybe also do some dog training from time to time because they do enjoy spending time with their little Rosie and future other dogs too. I think that's going to be really fun. And then here they do have this really nice shed. It's definitely very big. I don't think they really actively use this space. It's just around. It's nice for some storage for paintings and whatnot and canvases and all those things. So I did do that, and then I just used it for storage for seasonal items, which is really fun to just have those sitting there, especially when we're actually doing gameplay. It's really fun to just have the Christmas tree right there and just have the fall decorations and the pumpkins and stuff just sitting there. I think that's going to be really fun to do. And it's just so realistic. I love just having those items just sitting here in the shed. So that's what I ended up doing. I also placed a little pumpkin carving station. I thought that was cute to have, and then just some more seasonal decorations. But then that's actually it for this build. So let's jump into the game and I'll show you the house in real time. So here we have the Hecking residence in the game. I feel like it looks super inviting. I just love those dormers and then the little shutters. It just looks so cute. And this lot is gorgeous. I don't really build here very often. Normally I'll pick this lot on the other side. I think it's because it's smaller, and this one's usually a little intimidating to me, but I'm really glad we actually sat down and built something here. I just am really happy with how this came out. So they have this huge driveway, obviously no cars. I could have placed a debug car, but I didn't really like that. They have a little area here for their mailbox and their bins. There is a small bench out here, and I parked their bikes. And then they have a pathway going out this way out to the shed. So that's where we have the garage, and then into the backyard. So in the backyard, there's not a whole lot to this. It's just, you know, a field, if you will, and there's some dog training equipment, and then that's literally it for the backyard. Some beautiful trees, but I really like how this looks. I never do it this way. I always feel the need to kind of furnish this, put a seating area or two, maybe a sand pit and like play equipment for kids, but I really didn't need that in here. So, you know, I kept it fairly simple. And then in here we have the shed, which is just nicely decorated. It's not very functional. It's just, I wanted this to look like storage. So they just have a bunch of storage here and then some seasonal decorations and whatnot. But then over here we have the front porch. There there is a chess table out here that my playtester sim is using. I love this little gnome welcome mat. I don't know why, but I feel like it's so perfect for the vibes of this house, so I went with it. I actually do have some planters out here, so if one of them actually feels like doing some random gardening, they can do that. And I wanted there to be an outdoor easel as well, because, you know, maybe Brent wants to paint outside sometimes, so I had to place that here. Going inside, here you can get a little bit of a sense of the floor plan. It's nothing too complicated. It goes all the way around, and I feel like it's pretty good for routing too. So we have an entryway space here with a giant staircase going up, and it just has your normal entryway clutter, like a coat rack and a little table and a mirror and whatnot. Going over here is where we have the family room. It is kind of colorful in a way, even though I mostly used white furniture and wood tones. It is, you know, because of the curtains and the wallpaper, it still feels kind of colorful, and that rug too. I can totally understand if it's too many colors, or like, I guess too many greens in a way. I don't know. I just kind of rolled with it. I thought it was fun, especially combined with the white furniture, so that's what I did. But we have a nice seating area here, a fireplace with a TV. There's a little gloat bar for if they want to grab a little drink. There's a bunch of bookcases. I also placed a bunch of little dog beds for Rosie around. She's a really small dog. She probably won't use them. She'll probably just choose the couch or a chair to sleep on, but we'll see how we go. Through this archway over here, there is a little hallway, and then there is a bathroom slash laundry room over on this side. It is very simple, but it gets the job done. And then over here is where we have the kitchen. I love the kitchen. I feel like these Sims would spend a lot of time in the kitchen, especially if they love to cook, and I feel like they do love to cook. So I think they would be in here a lot. It has everything you need. It is nice and cluttered, but not overly so. And I actually kind of like the cabinet situation around the door. I feel like it's kind of fun. So that's their kitchen. And then back here, of course, we have a spot for Rosie to eat, and we have the Roomba that'll be zooming around. Through this archway over here is where we have the sunroom. That's the dining room, you know, and I feel like this is very chic and inviting and just really, really pretty. I wanted there to be enough space for routing, obviously, so, you know, there's not a whole lot of decorations on this side. I did place another bed for Rosie, so she can join in on the dinner parties as well. And then over here we have the lounge. This lounge is also connected to the kitchen, as you can see, and this is just a fun area to hang out after dinner, so you could just have some conversations, have a little drink, play some piano, that sort of thing. Going upstairs, we have this open staircase moment, and then just a very simple little landing with some bookcases, and that's literally it. There is a hall bathroom right here, which is fairly simple, but again, it gets the job done. And then over on this side is where we have the main bedroom of the house, the main suite, if you will. I love the blue, and I feel like it just looks very cozy with all the dark wood and those curtains. I love those curtains. They have my whole heart. I think they're so beautifully made. And over here in this corner is where they have a little office. So just a little computer and some office decorations, and then they have an ensuite over here, which is identical to the hall bathroom. And then they have a walk-in wardrobe on this side with a built-in closet and, you know, just a mirror and a little ottoman. On the other side, we have their, I guess you could call them offices, since this is for their work partially. So there's a home gym over here with just your basic gym equipment. I think this will be really good for gameplay. It's very nicely set up in a way where it's easy to use everything, and I feel like they could definitely work out together in here as well. I think that would be fun for them. And then over here we have the art studio, of course. So there's an easel and just some random things just like set up and some storage and whatnot. And I think Brent will be really happy with his little home studio. And then of course we have the back porch, which is basically just very simple. I have some outdoor bins close to the kitchen for gameplay purposes, some more dog toys, an area to sit, and a small dining table out here. But that is it for this house. So the Hecking home is up on the gallery. I built it on their original lot, which is a 40 by 40 in Brindleton Bay. It's called It's a Good House. So that's the lot I built it on. It has 3 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms total, and it comes in at just under 167,000 simoleons. So they are really lucky to have inherited this house. You know, that's all I'm gonna say. But that's gonna do it for today's video, so I really hope that you enjoyed this one. You can obviously go ahead and download it off the gallery like I just showed you. My username on the gallery is Simmary Sims. If you're not subscribed to my channel already, feel free to do so, and if you'd like to get notified every time I upload, just click that bell icon. I also live stream on Twitch a few times a week, so if you're interested in that, go ahead and give me a follow over on twitch.tv/Simmary Sims. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!